Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Analytics Are for the Nerds. I'm Louis G, along with Ryan Mura, on was it Saturday night? On a Saturday night, doing a guillotine draft, the self-named guillotine draft that I started about 4 or 5 years ago. Pretty unique format here. Super flex, start two tight end premium, and like a big tight end premium. It's like 1.75 for tight ends. So really a lot of fun. How it is to build this team. I feel like we've already seen a lot of different ways, and I'll break that down in a second. I don't know if that so much has to do with user error or or if it's really how people are choosing, because it looked like we had a couple auto picks early, but I will share that. What did you end up doing with your first pick? Why don't you tell us where you were and what you ended up doing?
I went CJ Stroud with the first pick at 112. I thought it was important to get one quarterback here. Looks like this next guy might. Oh, he put Jaden. This is an interesting decision here. So I'm leaning tight end, but I also know that if I pass on the quarterback I'm thinking about, I'll not get him. So you know what? You go big or you go home. I told you earlier that I thought this guy was going to outscore Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to stick to it. So I'm going to pick Caleb Williams here.
Yeah, I like that. Good. Uh,
I almost blew it because I had to jump around and update my app, so I almost missed the pick. But
on the mobile app.
yeah,
You're doing it. You're drafting on
I
the
have
mobile
the
app.
other. I have the website up too, but I also just don't trust myself doing that on time either. So
Um, as most of you know, MFL is the worst hosting site ever. So unfortunately, that's where we're at for this. And it's just because I do a lot of my leagues in MFL and it's the most customizable. So unfortunately, that's why we're doing it here. It's definitely the worst live draft experience. Let's start with getting rid of that guy's noise.
yeah, how do I do that?
I gotta figure that out. I know draft commentator, none. All right. Finally got rid of that. So let's take a look here in the first round. I thought I would go crazy. I mean, this is third round reversal too, so I thought I would go crazy quarterback early because they'd have to wait so long to get their first guy. But McCaffrey, Hill, finally Josh, Bijan was a pick. Brees was a pick. Like those guys chose. That's unique. That's interesting in the sense that like you lose less points throughout quarterbacks than you do, the top two running, maybe the top 2 or 3 running backs separate themselves more via tier. I don't hate, that strategy. It's just, it's obviously different. And I find it hard to go into week one without 2 quarterbacks because, I mean, you can build that at any point. Like, there's going to be 1 or 2 guys that are, I mean, whatever. You can build any position, but I usually kick running back in these things. We'll see. We'll see where I end up. But actually, I thought being in the back of the round, I thought I might be forced to doing that, and kind of changed based off of how it was going.
Yeah, I didn't really have much of a strategy going into this thing, as you know. Just before we started, I was like, "This is super flex, right?" Oh, it is. Okay. So I was getting some of the rules as we're going here, but I think that's a nice pick of McBride at 211. That's a nice value. It's tough. Like you really have to make a decision where you're gonna sacrifice, and you also try to play the room. So we'll see what happens in the next 10 till I pick again. So.
Yeah, now the third round reversal. This is a nice little, and I really wanted to try to get 2 tight ends and/or 2 quarterbacks in the first 3 picks, but I don't really love Any of the quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, I thought that they kind of dried up right after Williams / whoever went next.
There goes Kincaid. Like Kincaid would have been the other guy I would have thought about. Still 6 picks away highly. It's not like I got sniped, but yeah, I mean, it gets interesting here. I think this year more so, even in any league that you're in. And I realize this year, and I'll go over a main event draft I did earlier today with Mike Show, but like, there's especially the running back rooms are so you can build a team and whatever you're building Gee-Ouiltine differently, but you can build a 0 RB build with like 3 guys with beginning of the season upside and 3 guys with end of season upside, and whatever, everything has to happen perfectly with that, but like you could build a nice little room, and we kind of did it today. We did do Brees early, but kind of.
Yeah, I've been enjoying in my redraft leagues employing the sort of the stud running back plus, then and just ignore the position until round 10, or just start then getting the high upside handcuffs that I think are just the best, values in all of these fantasy drafts. It's a one position that it's more volume based than anything else. Yes, talent can win out, but as we've seen with so many frustrating decisions from coaches, that happens a lot less often with wide receivers, where if you can earn targets, you're likely going to be on the field. Quarterback play is definitely a variable, but running backs, I want to get guys on my roster who are going to have a potential opportunity in the second half of the season. So Jalen Wright is my number 1 most rostered player, because that's just a fantasy gold mine, running back, situation, right? So take any darts you can on those spots. So looks like catching up in the draft here towards the end of round 2, we have Goff, Puka, and Kyle Pitts. So we're running a little bit thin on tight end, and looks like now there's starting to be a run here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Trevor Lawrence here. I think he's like the end of the quarterback run that I really want. So now I got 2 starting quarterbacks. I'll have some decent. I'm probably not gonna be able to. Well, like we talked about, stacking's not the smartest thing in the world in this anyway. So I was gonna say I can probably pair them with a couple guys later, but that's really not the smartest thing in this. It's really hard to get your best ball brain trained differently. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I think with most things, right? Even it can go in the reverse too, right? I think when you play too much dynasty football, you can be a potentially a bad redraft player, because you start to look at some of the values you get on players and you can't believe it. But
I don't know. Do you not think that helps guys like me and you, or like, to me, I gained value on almost every one of my rookies that I was drafting early in the offseason. Like, I was big on Dunze, I was big on Neighbors. They've all gained value. So, like, I don't know. I try not to be too crazy heavy, but it's also a different day of age than it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when the rules are like, be careful of rookies. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm glad you pushed back on that. I think you're right. I think actually, it's a cliche now to say, you can't have dynasty mind when you're drafting in these leagues. Like, you ultimately we're playing the same game. All right, so I'm at all play. Let me look at all players here.
It's tough too, because these rankings suck too.
By ADP, yeah, they do suck.
Or ADP.
No. All right, so it's easy decision for me. I'm gonna take my tight end here, a guy again that I'm betting. I'm a man of my word, right? So you say, oh shoot, how do I? 15 seconds. Here we go. Let me just do this before I screw this up. It's amazing that you have to push like 12 buttons to draft a player on this app.
Rock Bowers, I like it.
Yeah, I need a tight end. You do not want to be in a position where you're looking at your roster early in the season and you those are going to be the guys that are going to go for the most money. Achane would have been another thought there. I love that, but I can't not have a tight end. It's in a start too. I've seen the pain that it causes to not have a legitimate starting tight end. And if I think that Brock Bowers is going to have as good of a season as I do, then I'm going to back it up and take him right there. So,
do you? I mean, it's a stupid question because I guess it's obvious that you have to. I mean, just with the injury and rookie first game, like you scared of that week 1 bust, and then you never get to enjoy.
Well, thanks for speaking that into existence. And now that I think of it, can we go back and maybe I'll take Achane instead? No. Listen, I think he's a special player. They asked Nick Saban, who in this class, were problems, for you when you were coaching, and he only gave 2 names. It was Malik Neighbors and Brock Bowers. And they, he said, those guys cause issues. You have to game plan against them. They're game breakers. So I think if you could, guarantee yourself, I know there's a lot of risk. It's guillotine. It's not a normal, you're not getting these guys for years and years and years. But what I'm saying is I think he really is going to go into an opportunity and just, catch passes, right? Who else are they going to throw to? And I know that they're not going to be a good team, but they are going to be a team that's going to need to pass the ball. I know they're not just going to be able to run. It's not just Zamir White, Alexander Madison, and whoever else in the backfield, Dylan Laube. As much as I love the upside of it long term, I just think you're going to have to pass. And so he's going to potentially be a target monster. So at 1.75 makes sense to me.
I loved listening to you justify that.
Hey, we'll see if he comes out and has 8 catches in the first.
I mean, you got more confident throughout.
Yeah,
like
listen.
You started very tentative with it, a little nervous. You had a crack in your voice, and then you did gain some confidence as you got through your argument. I feel like crap, dude. Sorry, so I just had COVID for 4 days.
Oh man.
And really, really kicked my ass, and then. Late last night and today, I felt pretty good, and I felt a lot better. And now all of a sudden, tonight, I'm getting just a little bit of chest congestion, which wasn't part of any of the first 4 days. So that's I'm just a little uncomfortable. So I might, if I start coughing egregiously, I'll probably cut our stream short. But.
That's fine. Well, especially after I took Brock Bowers there. I mean, that's might have been terrible.
Yeah, I when I have a spit take with one of your picks, I can blame it on the illness.
Yeah, right. So you finished up. Well, everyone finished up with Best Ball Mania now. I'm sure you hit 150, right?
Yeah, I just hit 150. A few days ago. I think I hit 150 on I don't know what day it was, but in fact, I got it early enough that I was upset after I filled it. The last 3 or 4 were real soft, 1 or 2 badges. The only thing about that, and you've probably seen a lot of this discourse on Twitter, so they're softer rooms, right? And they're all over the place, so you can get crazy value because people don't know what they're doing. There's just a bunch of people, rushing to it. So, but you can't count on your stack quarterbacks falling to you because people will just take them naked because they don't understand how to play best ball. Yep. So you have to be a little bit more aggressive with that when they're soft rooms. But besides that, I started using that. Have you got on Solver yet?
Have I gotten what?
On Best Ball Explorer?
No.
Okay, so I'll show you this in a second. Let me see if
I kind of give you all your exposures and.
Dude, it is the best site ever. How far am I away? Probably 10 picks. Yeah, I'll show you this real quick. It is pretty great. I mean, it tells you. So let's go drafted teams, right? So it's got, and I can go by contests, whatever. Let's just look at Best Ball Mania here.
Mhm.
So it's got my 150 drafts fees. It's got the closing line value of the draft day of, and then it also has, if you go into this next thing, real time value. So as you like, this is how I did for ADP, and some of these really extreme numbers are like taking off guys that are a couple guys at the end that are just off the board. So this isn't the best thing to look at, honestly. When you go and you see some of my most positive, like I'm like plus, like this one right here, I guarantee you. So this one's plus 118, 139. Like, again, I don't even like, I guess that means how many spots I made up throughout the draft. But just look at how dumb the build is. Like it's a 4-4-8-2. Like that's not winning, and so I got a bunch of value, but it was a stupid, whether I fell asleep during that one or whatever happened there. But look at, they do every playoff stack that you have. So this is showing like, New Jets versus Buffalo. This is how many I have. The green is that featuring home team only or quarterback. Blue, like it's insane. So you know exactly how many games I have, and then you can go to week 16, week 15. Like it's so great. Free tool. Draft positions. I know every single draft position I had, of course. 68 out of the 150 were in the top 6. Everything else was in the back end. So the only good thing about that was I was going so much Brees and Bijan early, and they were going late, so I didn't really, my process didn't get hurt as much because then now that's where people are getting them early anyway. So, but every week I was, or we're 3 weeks removed from getting one of them at 1.8. Anytime you had that. So, really cool tool. I'll share it with you. I'm coming. Well, you're coming up before me, right?
I am. Yeah, I'm up in 3 now.
Okay. And you are at what position wise?
2 quarterbacks, 1 tight end.
Once we get through round 4, I will, or let me get through. Let's get through our picks in the 5th, and then we'll pull up the board and kind of go over what that looks like when we have it all together. If I could figure out how to pull up a board on MFL. I also got my main event team from earlier that I don't know if you saw on Twitter or whatever, but and I know we all do this and call every team a masterpiece. But when I tell you, Mike and I were like every pick, like standing up, high-fiving in excitement. Wow. Like it was, we got it. We really got a lot of value throughout everything. We played. Mike is so great drafting with, in the sense that I think we're really good partners because I think, at one point I remember selling him on the Dobbins thing, right? Because, and Dobbins has the plus 160 to score a touchdown, and Gus is like plus 245. Not for nothing, in that game on Sunday, Dobbins is the number 1 player in the whole game to score a touchdown. Like, Vegas knows something about that game script, and I don't know how long he'll continue to have that role, but that's who's leading the role. I mean, with those odds, come on. It feels fishy, right? And anytime something feels fishy, that's so. For J.K. Dobbins to have the best touchdown. So I sold him on that, and he was like, I love that you know that. Like I just said that, right away. I was like, Dobbins now, and he's like, I love that you know that. But he's also good at, like, we were in the 3 spot, and he's really good at playing off of the ends.
Yep.
Where,
like knowing who they're going to go for, because that is a big part
he's
of
really smart when it comes to that, and it really, I've had to like the couple times that I was being like, yeah, but is it worth it? And he'd be like, just trust me. We had Nico and I'm up here. Hold on. Nothing fun at tight end, that's for sure. Oh boy. Uh-oh. Oh, this is going to be a shitty pick because I don't know what I want to do. Oh, I got a good one. Oh, come on. Do it. No. Oh, no. Just missed it. I was going to go Higgins, but just
might get him back. Unless Wolf is watching.
Yeah, probably a few guys are watching. That's fine, but that's who I would have went there. And Kamara's fine for this format too. He's got a really good floor, especially early in the season. I don't know if I want to give him too much. All right, so yeah, I think I'm going to take Higgins here. I just like Higgins is somebody I'm getting excited about now with obviously the Chase holdout and whatever. And I who's the one doctor, Jesse Morris or whatever. I kind of can't stand him on Twitter. He's kind of very I know everything, but he is he's usually pretty good with the injury stuff. And he just keeps on saying like I'm not drafting him because if this dude walks into week 1 and tries to play, he's just going to be susceptible to like muscle injury because he hasn't been practicing. And that's true. It's just like how what happens in training camp. Training camp, you get a lot of that. So I don't know. I'm kind of buying the Higgins hype, but
I'm in on Higgins for sure. I'm happy about this for sure. Easy pick for me. I think.
What'd you end up with?
He could be the wide receiver one for Houston. Getting him as the third of the 3, I'm fine with because good luck. Your guess is as good as mine how those targets are going to shake out. I know it's a bit riskier with a stack, but it's CJ Stroud, and so I'm fine. I'm happy taking him there. I think he's going to be the best of the 3. So,
you think Tank is going to be the best of the 3?
Mm-hmm.
Via where they're going, or just
all together? Okay, yeah, that's good clarification. I expect them all to do pretty well. I'd say like 180, half PPR points, which. That might not deliver for Nico Collins, but on Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, where they're going, that's a hit. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with really any of them, honestly, though. I'm just taking shots kind of wherever I can on the Houston offense.
All right, I'm going to pull up this draft so far so we can show what's going on here. Because we got 15 big listeners watching. Half of them are probably the league. So this is where we're looking. Is there a team that sticks out to you that you wish you had outside of yours? I guess say that. And I don't know. If you want to be shitty, you can name one that you don't agree with. I probably will.
All right. The one that I like of the ones that I'm seeing here, I would say. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I'm looking for running backs that I like because that would be.
Yeah.
I like Brees, but I don't like Rashad White. I like Bijan, and I'm okay with Kyron, but he's too risky for me.
But maybe not early. Like I would be a little bit more comfortable drafting Kyron in this league because you're quote unquote not stuck with him, and I think he's going to help you. He's early,
Good way of looking at it. Yeah, it's you're going to give up somewhere though, right? If you're heavy on
there's no way to. no one looks like they're not rainbow, right? Like no one just kind of went straight weird. Hal, I kind of like what Hal did though with in the 2 spot with Tyreek Hill, Puka, Dylan or DJ Moore, and then still get Purdy. He'll probably end up getting a back end quarterback and a back end tight end here still. And, he's got those 3 stud wide receivers and, fill that in with a couple week 1 running backs and just whatever. But I like that a lot. Like it's kind of just different, somebody that's, and it's hard not to like the Josh Allen team at 3, getting Allen at 3 and then Goff. And I'm not the biggest Pacheco guy, but I think Pacheco's fine for Gee-Ouiltine. I think he's going to do a lot in between the 20s, but I am worried about Carson Steele inside the red zone, and I'm worried about P. Ryan taking some receptions, but I think Pacheco's fine. It's a little heavy for me, but remember, that's 3rd round reversal, so that's at the end of the 3rd, so it's not like he didn't take him over the other 3rd round guys. He took him over Rachaad White, Josh Jacobs, whatever. I think the only guy that I'd have over Pacheco there that went later is like Kenneth Walker as far as the running back. He dropped all the way into the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I would have snapped him, and I wouldn't have messed up my pick. and got
That's who you were going for, was Walker?
I was like busy kind of messing around with our stuff, and I'm not 100% sure Jelena's sleeping upstairs, which I'm sure when I get upstairs she's going to be smoking a cigarette and gambling online, just like Daddy.
Yep. She was actually the one that was auto drafting when you were you're an alias. She's Bishop Sycamore.
I want to show this main event team, but let's get through our next pick. Right? Or no, we're far away. Where did you end up on your BBM portfolio?
It's a good question. I think somewhere in the 60s. I didn't end up getting as close as I wanted to. I set a goal for 100 this year, and I just didn't get there. But it's always next year, right? Or unless I win it, and then I'll just, be on an island.
I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't even buy anything. I would just immediately quit work and just start drafting again for next year. I wouldn't buy anything. This is my life now. I'm a S-ball player, and no more work. And I would go for walks daily for sure.
Yeah, a lot of free time.
I would get outside. I
really have no idea what I want to do when it gets back to me over here. Is that bad to admit? I have no plan.
It gets weird here, right? Like it just gets. Oh, I think. I
it's
can't
just
even.
A clump of players.
I'm a very big. Are you a Q guy? Like I'm a very big.
No, I actually haven't been doing any Q. Should I get in on that?
Well, I'm just saying I'm very big Q guy, and I can't do it because you guys are all watching. So I'm.
Oh yeah. Well, why don't you try it?
Check it out. I don't think you need a 3rd quarterback in this format, right? Like
No, I'm not going QB, I don't think. Unless I'm bluffing everybody here. Here's Bishop Sycamore, aka Jelena, is up on the clock here, 6:08. Yeah, I think I'm probably going skill position, but there's a couple tight ends out there still. It's been a while since any of them been taken. So
yeah, I don't know if I like any of them, unless I'm not seeing the full list.
Yeah, the more I look at it, the pick of Ingram at what was that 311 or end of the 3rd or start of the 4th or whatever that was. That's a nice pick too.
Is that what you ended up doing?
I think if he had gotten around to me, would I have taken Engram over Bowers? Yes.
Yeah.
In best ball, that's been a little bit more of a coin flip for me, but
Yeah, I can see that too. I struggle with the Jags because like God, it's kind of like Green Bay. Like two guys are not going to hit their ADP, and two guys are going to, right? And so I've kind of bet on Brian Thomas Jr. recently and Gabe, and then I'm betting against Ingram and Kirk, but it's mostly just because of opportunity cost. And then the thing with Green Bay, obviously, we've had this conversation multiple times, but I'm like Dubs and Reed if I had to pick two, but like I just want to. I don't need to I just feel like I don't want to be wrong. So I've been trying to mix those four up quite a bit. We actually picked Wicks in the main event today, late. But we're about to get up here and then make these couple picks, and I'll show you that real quick, and then I might call it a night. You only have 16 rounds. We're about halfway there. It's cool. I mean, most guillotine things don't go 16 rounds. That's a pretty big team roster for guillotine. But when you think about your starting 10, it really isn't. You got a pretty short bench. I think you're muted. You are muted. Oh, I muted you, maybe. No, can't unmute. They chose to mute themselves.
Well, I did because my dog was barking in the background. So that's amazing that none of that was actually heard because I was complaining about how I had then gotten sniped on Rashee Rice. Pivot. Yeah, that was a nice pull by Jelena. And so I had to pivot. I'm happy with Odunze, but again, it breaks the rules of traditional guillotine drafting where you're stacking and you're kind of, again, it's early in the season though, you're trying to get talent. I'm happy with that wide receiver room if I'm in pretty much any league. So
does anybody scream guillotine star more than Deontay Johnson?
Oh yeah, he is.
Like they it's the perfect floor of 10 points. I love that guy. It's perfect for this format. I don't have to. I bet I don't have to tell you who I would be going with here, if I can get through. But let's see. I got one more. You wanted Dunze?
I did.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going Najee, brother.
I honestly, I was literally about to say Najee when you said that. I was like, yeah, that's a Najee pick. Yep.
Oh God. Someone's on auto because they just picked Joe Milton.
Oh boy.
This has got to be Jesse. It's got to be Jesse. He texted me that he was having trouble with the site, so they was going ADP. So he's going to be out within a week already. Like last year, he did something messed up, or he forgot to not like he legit knew the settings and just like forgot to draft a position like an important, like didn't get a tight end. He like didn't have a starting tight end week one. Now he's having trouble with the site and Joe Milton. So I can't help stupid,
No, you cannot.
I'm gonna try.
All right, so let's go to do this. Let's go. This is a guy I'm not planning on starting right away, and I hope I can just kind of stash him, see where he's at. He sounds like he might be a better than best veteran best ball player, but I can't pass again on the upside of Xavier Worthy. So I'm swinging big, right? You swing big in these things, and you hope that even a handful of these guys are going to be, core pieces on your team. That the year that I went to the finals in this Gee-Ouiltine League, I had, the Jamar Chase rookie season. And it's just like you have these core pieces of your team, and then you can build around them. And that's what I'm hoping to do here, that maybe 2 to 3 of them kind of work out, and then you could just build the rest of your, positions.
I agree with what you're saying, as far as, he's more of that type of player, but also in the same sense, I think he's going to have a big enough role where it's going to be fine.
Yep.
Like he's going to still be the big part of that offense. So here's our main. You're out of the 3 spot, named Adventure Landing over after my wonderful choice of where I picked his league draft to be after I won it. Which is
I thought that's where you went to actually. You had a round of putt, and then you then
did the rookie. Yeah. So we started with Brees. We had it. We had it Lamb, Brees, McCaffrey. That's where our Q was. It would have been. We were not hoping for McCaffrey, like as some people thought.
Whoa! Can I? The first thing that stands out to me is, how do you get CJ Stroud in the 9th to pair him with Tank and Nico? That had to be the first of, well, maybe not the first, but a big time celebratory moment. Also, JSN in the 7th is a beautiful.
We had said we were not going to take a quarterback at ADP. We were going to need a big hit. We almost got Allen at 5.3. We would have considered that, but to pair with Dell,
you would have had to have done
or
that.
to Kincaid. But no, we were thinking just maybe still Dell, and hope. But even so, Stroud becomes a thought there in the 7th. I said, let's not push. And then in the 8th, we looked, and with the 2 team having Josh, and then the one team played like a team with not much idea of what they were doing, not for nothing, but as you see, like they didn't end up pairing their quarterbacks with anything. So who knows, maybe we were lucky that they didn't go Stroud there. But he just goes Love instead of Stroud, and he didn't have any pairing with Stroud or Love either. So that was weird, but we took a chance and paid off. And even at that moment, like right until the last second, we were talking about, should we be taking McConkey here and waiting one more, when we could have went Caleb a little bit later with a Dunze. We just weren't. We could have went Purdy with Kittle. Like we just weren't too worried about it. I didn't love the Kittle pick. He was pretty high on it, and me, I'm like, I'll never have to be talked into like a cranking purple early. I just like Kincaid Pitts would have been great for me or whatever, but I wasn't thinking Kittle here, and I probably on my own go Allen there and just make sure I have him. But honestly, knowing how everything played out, we made the right move. Like we won.
Yeah, you're shunning. You'd be shunning CJ Stroud at 903. Which you're not, you couldn't do. You might just take both, but then you're completely throwing your draft plans for a loop. But yeah,
look at all the week 17 core. I mean, Buffalo and the Jets. Like we got, we have Seattle and Chicago. We built our running back room kind of, like I said, half and half of guys that Dobbins will be good early, Benson will be good late. We fell a little bit short after Benson. Like I would have liked a stronger 5th and 6th, but we took Shipley for the free look because he's playing on Friday night, so you get that free look.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what we took him for. And then, Sermon, I think I've been telling you all off season's the best handcuff to own. He won't have much of a role, but if JT gets hurt, I think he's monstrous. So really, really like how it ended up. We took the free look in Justin Tucker, kicker. He really wanted Cincinnati's defense, so I asked him if we could take Green Bay's defense at the end just to get the free look. If they don't score enough points Friday, we'll just ditch them on Saturday for somebody. And unfortunately, Ricky Pearsall will probably be dropped on Saturday as well after the news about him.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's okay. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm making a joke about the situation, but it does sound like he is at least going to be okay.
Yeah. What a crazy.
Pretty crazy, right? It's been a couple of crazy days in sports.
Yeah. Still just keep thinking about the Gaudreau family, and it's just terrible.
That's been that's like
it's tragic. I can't imagine the pain that they're going through right now. So
no, that's just the more the information came out, the more crazy it was. All right, let's get through a couple more picks of ours each.
Yeah, I'm excited about these next couple. I think this is where you really start to shift. I think you're making your biggest moves in these picks right here, because if you miss on them, you're going to be threatening to be down at the bottom. So.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Guillotine is really a great format.
It's the best format. It's just the best format. I would play a lot more if it wasn't so time consuming. And, I feel like, this one I run, so you kind of have to. There was a couple others that I was in that I kind of that dissolved, that I didn't really offer to kind of take over or whatever, because I feel like one's the right number. Just like everything I do, I probably would like a higher stakes one day, but it's a really hard format to get anybody to do kind of higher stakes, because you can be out within a week. Jesse's donated $100 the last 2 years to be out after week one. See, obviously,
you think he's going to make it a three-peat? Come on, Jesse.
I think so. He's got Joe Milton as a starting quarterback.
I think actually.
But look at that team. I mean, those guys are going to score some points. He's just not going to have a tight end or a quarterback.
What if he knows something? What if he knows that both Jacoby Brissett and Drake May are going to somehow go down or not be good, and that's the guy you need. So who knows for week one?
I hope he gets through 1 week, and then he'll have to spit his load on some of the positions that he needs. But I'm pulling for him. A real underdog story.
That's right.
This is probably him texting me if he's watching.
It's just funny. The whole chat is just complaints about MFL. It's just like
it really is, and I know it's not a fun. It's not a fun site to draft on at all.
It's also not fun being a commissioner. So I'll say that.
Was that your guy? Was Taji?
Well, I'm a Spears guy.
I think there's a good strategy for me here. Considering doing it, and I think
all right, nice. Did not get sniped on a second one, so that means I got the better of the two Pittsburgh running backs at a cheaper cost than Louis. So I'm going to go ahead and submit Warren.
I was gonna go.
Were you going to double tap him?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I have an interesting strategy, I was going to double tap on him. I mean, right? You just eat up that whole.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. You ride that backfield for the whole year. That's nice. That's
not year, but for a few weeks it would do.
No, you might as well be drafting Arthur Smith. You just draft his genius running mind.
I am really happy with what I like. I almost want to pick somebody for Jesse, but he's already on auto, and I hate that I have friends so stupid. At least he paired. At least he paired.
Bell. Oh,
At least he paired Milton with Bell.
Yeah, listen. That's the stack you need in 2024. Milton Bell, 2024.
Watch Brissett and Henry get hurt week 1.
I'm telling you, he knows. He's just making it happen by his picks. Yeah.
I like Colby there. That's a pretty good buy late for the second tight end.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm at 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. So I'm really just gonna be building the skill positions now, which it's tough to do in Gee-Ouiltine, especially like this. Look at this, like the screen right here and these wide receivers. It's like nobody knows. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll speak my truth.
Yeah, exactly. You have to.
Did you see my argument today on Twitter? Someone called me out for being mean.
No.
And it was somebody big too, and I shouldn't. And I'll apologize publicly. It wasn't even I don't think I have to apologize for anything. But I posted that everyone's doing their hot takes, and I was like, I guess I'll do it too. I go, one thing I'll say is if you follow anyone's advice, follow that to invest a lot of money in fantasy football. There are so many clickbait experts out there that are playing in $50 leagues. And what's his name? Oh, did he delete? He may have deleted. Oh, I think he deleted. No, did he? No, he did not. Tank Polvoy from Optimus Fantasy, and took some
umbrage, I think is the term.
Umbrage with my saying, and I try to tell him I'm not calling you not an expert for playing in lesser league, sure, but if I had the choice to choose from 2 people, if I was taking financial advice from somebody, I'd be taking it from somebody that was spending a lot of money in the things they were telling me to invest in, right? Like, isn't that kind of common sense, or no? Being a dickhead.
Yeah, listen, I think you're entitled to any opinion you want, right? Your opinion is that it's more valuable to follow the people that have put their money into drafts that have other people who are also investing a lot of money. And I think that's a good barometer, because what does that mean? I mean, it doesn't mean that you're better than anyone else. It means that maybe you're spending more time doing it, or you've done more of it, so you see I do think doing more drafts gives you a competitive edge. I think that makes a difference in knowing kind of not just necessarily what the market thinks about players, but what it should do to your own assessment of where you are on certain players, right? So if you're way off on market, doesn't mean you have to change your opinion, but you probably should open your mind to the possibility that you might be wrong, and you may need to, scale back your take on it. So I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with having that opinion, right? You're entitled to think what you want. Everyone is.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna cut off here after the 9th. Should I show real quick one more look at the board?
Yeah. Why don't we show one more and then run through our teams, and then we'll see who has a better post round 9 team.
Let's see here.
That'll be the vote this week in the poll. Who did better after round 9?
Yeah, and I was supposed to be in Vegas on Wednesday. I won't be, so we will be recording as normal if you're down, obviously.
I am. Let's do it.
All right, let's do that. So here we are, just about through 9 rounds. Why don't you go through your team real quick? Well, here I'll run through your team, and then you can talk about things you like and what you don't. You are Marky Funkout. You got started off with Stroud. I mean, Stroud at 12 in this format, great. Caleb Williams, and that's again great. Bowers, Neighbors, Tank Dell, Adunze, Worthy, Jalen Warren, and Brian Thomas Jr. You're gonna struggle finding a second tight end to start, but got a real strong starting lineup there, and I'm sure you'll be able to find a cheap running back to throw in for the first week here coming up soon. So, what's your thoughts through 9?
I like my decision now with the benefit of hindsight of going with Caleb over a tight end there. That was my other thought, was to grab a tight end, but that would have guaranteed me not getting a second quarterback worthwhile until maybe one of the later rounds, and then I would have been kind of forced to take someone I wasn't interested in. So I'm happy getting those two quarterbacks and just stopping. Bowers, I think, was my turning point of the draft there with where, what my strategy was. And now, obviously, it made me not want to take any other tight ends, because at this point, I'm just kind of like rolling the dice with him. I'll plug in somebody else for week 1, and then maybe try to hit the waiver wire for week 2 and find something to plug in for the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get too far behind on wide receiver, because I think it's going to be hard to make that up, at least early in the season. And I know these guys are kind of, risky because they're rookies, but there are 3 of the top 4 that were drafted, and I just think they're on good offenses that are going to need them right away. So let's just take some risks here. It's definitely high variance, but I already feel good about my chances of not being the last team in week 1, which is really all you need to do in Gee-Ouiltine.
Yep.
Do you want me to run through your team here for you, and then you can do the same?
Sure.
Okay, so out of the, the 16 spot, Kyler Murray, I mean, a huge steal in a super flex draft, followed by Laporta, arguably the tight end 1. Most people would have him as a tight end 1. Lawrence, Kamara, accidental auto pick, Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris, Colby Parkinson, and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, so I mean, even with the auto pick on Kamara, like I would have gone Higgins there. So do I end back up on Kamara? Probably. If they still go Ayuk and Pittman, I'm probably just taking them in reverse. So I don't think I'd be taking. I wouldn't be taking Ayuk, Pittman, Diggs, Cooper, Devontae Smith. Tank Dell would have been the other guy besides Kamara that I would have probably, the first guy that went after him that I would have considered taking. But I'd probably end up on Kamara just for, his share. Deontay Johnson, like I said, I'm drafting him everywhere, but he is made for this format. Najee, again, because of the volume. And I would have loved to pair him with Jalen Warren after you took him out. Parkinson, I think I got lucky with Parkinson here because he this ADP system's pretty messed up, and he really was way, way down. I'm not sure people were keeping track on where he was. A lot of guys started going that were kind of going behind him in most drafts. So as soon as I noticed he wasn't on there, I put him out there and ended up stealing him here at the last second. So I love that. And then J.K. Dobbins, it's tough not to take an automatic touchdown week 1 if he's plus 160 or whatever in the top touchdown odds in that game. It's tough not to take in round 9. So he'll end up getting in my starting lineup there. All right. I know we're coming up, but then we can keep on doing this all night. So I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks for tuning in on this. We will be back Wednesday, 4 days till football. Excited for it. We'll see you guys Wednesday. Thanks and have a great night.